And so I'm going to start, I think I'm going to start with Michael's today, because we have older Michaels and we have the younger Michael. And talk a little bit about how you guys sort of got involved with this, because I know, Don, you did two, did you do two, or was that, did George do 4 and 6? And you did 5. Oh, okay. Can you talk a little bit about, you know, sort of what was your approach to Michael this time around? Just your interpretation of where he was as a character.
First of all, at this stage, I do not have my DVD on the board. And I have Don and sister with me here. How to approach the part of our parts, I would say the same thing. We're stunt guys. We approach it just being there, put the mask on, and make sure you hit the mark and do what the character tells us to do. It's no big challenge for us now. Stunt guys, we would fall, but I think we're difficult for the actors or the actresses to be more impressed than Michael Myers' character.
Well, I'm an actor and a stuntman. So when we're doing it, like I said, you know, most of the time I use a lot of blade weapons and stuff. I throw axes and knives at my wife. So, some people consider that abuse, but it's not. But what would happen is Dominique, the director on ours, would give me little suggestions before we would start a scene. It's like, okay, we're in the house, and you remember this because this, and, you know, because, you know. And so when I would be walking, I would be thinking about what he just told me. Okay, this room was your room, and there, you know, and so it gave me a little bit more, you know, when you're behind the mask and you're not saying anything, sometimes you have to let things out physically, you know, but it's, you know, we used to do exercise with the actors and just have them walk in a circle, and then you give them a suggestion, okay, you're marching the band, and it would change the way that you walk. So if you watch the film, I mean, you can see there's different things that things are building up, you're letting this come, and you know, it just makes it a little bit different. Originally, when I went in for the part, I didn't know, I mean, Don Pike had called me and wanted to know if I was available for stunts, like usually they call you. And I said, yeah, okay. And 15 minutes later, he called me back and goes, you have to meet with the director. I was like, for stunts? You know, because he didn't tell me what I was going to be doing. He goes, well, they want you to play the Michael Myers character. You know, oh, okay. So we go in, and Dominique goes, okay, I want you to walk like wood through water. Thought about it for a minute, okay, and I did it. And he goes, okay, that's perfect. And that's what I did for the audition.
And Eric, how about for you? Because you were so little, and I mean, you're basically playing this horrible, I mean, you know, beloved character, but still a horrible character in some ways, and you're just a little at that point. What was, you know, was it just a normal audition process for you? And
so for me, I was a local actor in Salt Lake, and I actually read for, I think the character's name is Kyle. He's the Frankenstein kid in the school, you know, teasing Jamie. So I had to go into this audition saying, your mom's dead. It sucks to be you, basically. And then a couple days later, my agent called my parents and said, hey, they really liked Eric, but they don't think that he's right for that part. They actually want him to play young Michael. So that's how that part felt on that.
had you seen?
Working actor, here we go. He said so many things that to list them would take most of this panel. Oh, sir. I guess let's just jump in. There you go. There you are. Let's talk just about the phone call. The first phone call you get from, I'm assuming, Ryan Murphy.
Yeah.
Did he indicate to you why he wanted you to do this? Did you know him from something else? Did you?
No, I've never met Ryan Murphy, but to be frank, I've never seen the show. I mean, it's not that I didn't know of the show. I was impressed with the cast of the show. It's just I get scared, and I don't like it. So I don't watch horror much. I will now, though, because I realized something about it. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, Ryan, I get a call from my manager that says Ryan Murphy would like to talk to you. So okay, that's a nice call. And then he calls and said, I'd like you to play the most terrifying clown in the history of television. And I said, wow, thanks. I didn't know why, really. Later on, I found out it was because he had been thinking about the character and actually worked with friends of mine, Mark Ruffalo, just before, starting to conceive this in Normal Heart. And he talked about Zodiac with him. And I think that's where it started for him. And then I show up in New Orleans after saying yes, which, didn't take long after that. I let it flow there. And then you saw what they'd done, what you were going to be involved with. And it was stunning to see the kind of work, the costume department, that conceptually the writers had done, that the makeup and makeup departments had already contributed even well before I got.
Let's say, at what point did they show you the designs and you went, oh, that's what you're doing with
The
this
first
guy?
time was when I had my life cast done for the mask. The mask, it was funny. They took a life cast where they cover you cover your head in alginate, the stuff they make dental molds out of, and you have it all over your head with somebody who's continually wiping your nose so you don't suffocate. And then it hardens, and then they put plaster Paris on, plaster Paris on, and then that's what they made the mask out of. And the mask fit me so well that it was sometimes hard to breathe, because it was, it would be like somebody holding their, hand over your mouth, while you tried to run after people and kill them. So I had to kind of adjust that mask just a little bit, because it was intense. But anyway, that's the first time I saw the mock-up.
And then at what point?
Okay. I was telling everybody this is my first one I've ever done by myself. And I'm kind of nervous doing it by myself.
I will be gentle.
Okay, good. Hopefully it's interesting enough to
Oh, for sure. I mean, what's really interesting is, yes, I know we're here to talk Halloween and everything, but you were very busy before Halloween. So I was curious if you talk a little bit about sort of coming up as a younger actor, and sort of, was there anything that sort of provoked sort of that transition into genre films?
Actually my parents got me into this when I was really, really young. I was a really hyper child, and I didn't sit still, and I told a lot of stories, like any child does. So they got me into this, and I loved being in front of the camera so much. I hated the audition process, I absolutely hated it. I didn't understand that process, but I just loved being with adults and being able to play around and create different characters like I would do at home all the time with my mom and dad. So I got into that, and then I just started playing really dark roles when I was a kid. And and then my dad's a mortician in a corner, so so my dad got me into all the horror stuff, and we would go to horror conventions all the time when I was a kid. So I grew up around this. So so it kind of made sense when I auditioned for the Rob Zombie. He's over there. The Rob Zombie movie. I was helping you. That I was really excited when I got it.
So that audition process, I mean, you being a horror fan, knowing who Laurie Strode is obviously in the lexicon of the horror, genre, how do you, as a young actress, how do you approach a role like that? Because it had to be seriously daunting for you.
My uncle actually would scare me all the time with the Michael Myers mask, so much that I hope there's no kids, I was about to curse, sorry. I was so terrified, so unbelievably terrified of the mask. And when the audition process came along, they just put Untitled Rob Zombie with me, which I just watched Devil's Rejects, and I was just telling my father, I was like, I need to work with him, and my mom was like, okay, yeah, we'll see if you ever work with him, kind of thing. And then this audition came up, and I guess I was one of the first girls. Rob doesn't like to be in the room when he auditions, he likes to cast off of tape, and I was one of the first girls that he saw, and he said that he wanted since day one, and it was like a studio struggle was the audition process, was trying to get it through the studio. You know, they wanted a certain type of woman, so, and Rob was like, no, we need like a real woman in there. So I was really blessed when I got the role, and really stoked and really excited. And then I found out that it was Halloween, and I was a huge fan of the original one, and Jamie Lee Curtis, so it was pretty nerve-wracking, and I was constantly comparing myself to her through the whole filming, until maybe like a half week into the making of it, Rob came up to me and he was like, hey, he's like, you're gonna get compared no matter what you do in this business, just literally make her yourself and let's have fun.